Recommendations, coming from the operators. So, they're saying that there are limits, to the full hookup site. So, their recommendation would be to increase that. Yeah, go ahead.
That's true, they need way more hookups.
More hookups, yeah.
Like, I don't know why there hasn't been $111,000. It's only the one top side that has any hookups.
Yeah.
Yeah. Making money, we need to reinvest.
Yeah, okay, so, and I think these are things that we will revisit during budget, so, but, yeah, just good, let these recommendations percolate, so that when we do meet for budget, we can think about what, strategically, what makes sense for this fiscal, or is there, larger projects that we could be eyeballing as well. And I kind of remember you in first year saying, we should expand, we need more sites, but this is clear evidence as well that if there's, another campground expansion project might make sense. Wi-Fi booster, they're recommending trying an alternative booster. Water leaks, sites 11 and 18, and there's a crack in the women's washroom, and the tap in the men's washroom needs repair. So staff is saying that Public Works will conduct an inspection and repair as required. Campground rates, they're suggesting an increase in rates for the full Towers site. So that's something, again, we could look at as part of our fees and charges bylaw. And then the operators would like to renew contract in 2026. And I think that'll be part of a further conversation, but I believe we resolved to put it out to tender, and so they would be welcome to apply. So Councillor Ferrier, then Councillor Van Dyne.
Yeah, and instead modifying the contract, because we were talking about the bathroom at the waterfront and all that would be included in that, contract, I think.
Okay. Yeah, so I think, that we'll have to carve space to have a conversation about this as part of budget, but also, our next steps. But I think we had quite a bit of conversation last year about just making regular, I think we actually resolved to put it out every 2 years or something, just as, just for transparency as well. So again, keep percolating, let all this information percolate, and we will connect to discuss some more. So campground rates, there's, for your information, it's there, and then cost. and increases. It's amazing that investment we did do for the campground expansion has been phenomenal. Like, it was a great investment, and that was a job creation partnership too, so we were able to leverage a very small amount of money into provincial dollars that supported, and it was locals who actually worked on that project.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was great. Alrighty, so there are some recommendations in this one. Go ahead, Councilor Knapp.
I'll move, that the 2025 Springer Creek Campground Operators Report be received as presented.
Moved and seconded by Councilor Perrier. All in favor? That motion passes.
Also move that staff be directed to investigate rate increases for 2026 camping season and report back to council.
Okay, moved by Councilor Knott, seconded Councilor Van Bynen. All in favor? That motion passes.
The third recommendation looks incomplete to me, but I guess just to
Yeah.
defer contract for no discussion to budget or something like that? Is that the intention of that recommendation?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll move
Or
that.
if we wait until budget to actually, good. Not too late. Budget goes a long time.
Yeah, it could take a while, but I think, like, do you think we require a special meeting? I feel like we do, like, so maybe we should direct staff to, coordinating a meeting time
Sure.
to discuss, the campground
Yep.
recommendations.
I'll move
Okay, moved by Councilor, not seconded by Councilor Perrier. Did you get that, Fran?
Yeah.
Sometimes we're quick, if you need
No,
us
that's
to
okay.
slow down, feel free to say what?
I got that. Direct staff to coordinate a meeting time for the campground.
Yeah, conversation, yeah. And all in favor? That motion passes. Excellent. Oh, and I didn't mention too, there was a little piece on the number of hours, and so we did have maximum allowable of 1,334, and the amount that we used was under that, it was 1,244. Alrighty. Next up, we have the Christmas holiday office closure. So the proposal is, Christmas Day and Boxing Day fall on Thursday, Friday. New Year's Day falls on Thursday. Staff is proposing the village office be closed for Christmas break, commencing Monday, December 22nd, and reopening Monday, January the 5th. Weather permitting, public works employees will take the following days off, December 24th, 25th, 26th, and January 1st and 2nd. They will be available for snow removal or emergency matters. All staff will use vacation time or leave without pay to cover days off that are not paid by staff. So there is a recommendation. Councilor
I
Perrier, go
will
ahead.
recommend that the village office be closed from 9 a.m. on Monday, December 22nd, 2025, until 9 a.m. on Monday, January 5th, 2026. And that be placed in the Valley Voice newspaper and public posting place to notify the public.
Okay, moved by Councilor Perrier, seconded Councilor Van Bynen. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? That motion passes. Firefighter Christmas bonus. Historically, we've provided the fire department with a $500 contribution towards their annual Christmas party. So, would somebody like to move the recommendation? Okay, moved by Councilor Van Bynen.
Recommend that council award $500 to the Slocan Fire Department as a village contribution towards their annual Christmas celebration. and that the village provide each member with a complimentary annual Slocan fitness center pass for 2026.
Alrighty, moved by Councillor Van Bynen, seconded Councillor Perrier, all in favor? And that motion passes. The council meeting schedule.
Just a formality.
Yeah, so it's great to double check. Are there any, days that really won't work? I think we're good. I didn't notice any, but sometimes there's some. Because we can change, if need be, if there's like a
Yeah, I'm
really
just
important.
looking at my calendar here.
How come it's so late in December? Oh, so it's September too, maybe.
You know, why it's December, we're almost December 7th, just out of curiosity.
No, it's because, the first is a Tuesday, that's why it just gives the 14 days.
Oh, right, I did second.
Yeah, and it does it in
Yeah.
December too.
Got it.
Yeah, I think we're good.
Good, okay, so would somebody like to move the recommendation? Sounds like you sound excited.
I move the recommendation that the council confirm the following as regular council meeting dates for 2026.
Okay, you don't need to read them all.
No.
No.
Moved by Councillor Van Bynen, seconded Councillor Dot, all in favor? That motion passes. And moving right along. So the Village of Slocan has been working in partnership with Cisco and the Village of New Denver on Fire Smart programs. A summary of completed activities has been attached for review. The partnership wishes to obtain their respective council's approval to support an application to the 2026 UBCM CRI program, with the Village of New Denver being named the lead applicant, responsible for applying, reporting, and managing the grant funds. As part of the application package, a renewed council resolution is required. The proposed combined budget for the 2-year project will be up to a maximum of $550. This includes up to $80,000 in homeowner rebates, critical infrastructure mitigation upgrades. No cash contribution is required by the village. Staff time is minimal. And the Village of New Denver is the lead proponent on this application and will manage the submissions of the application, et cetera. So when I just went, I just wanted to double check, so I know there was a regional district resolution for an application. And I don't know that we were named in there, but I know I had asked our intern CEO several times about how, like, how this intersects with the Cisco application. So I'm sorry I didn't check beforehand. But any other further comments from this group? Michelle's saying we are separate. Okay. Okay. And we get more money as individual municipalities, so,
Let's go for it.
that's good,
I'll
okay.
move the recommendation.
Okay. And seconded, Councillor Knott, move the recommendation as presented, all in favor? That motion passes. And I'll loop back, just think, like, and double check that we weren't included in the regional district application. Alrighty. And thank you, Michelle. We are rocking and rolling. Alrighty, so the Christmas, holiday hamper, W. Graham, Community Services is asking for support to the village to, again, assist in the Christmas hamper program. Last year, over 150 hampers were distributed to families in the Slocan Valley, and more expected for 2025. Each hamper is filled with nutritious food, household essentials, and gifts for over 99 local children. So, the last 2 years, we've contributed $1,000, and we've utilized the community development grant for that.
Maybe we should up it a little bit, everything's so expensive.
Oh.
It's been $1,000 for 2 years in 2025, and, yeah.
Okay. Do you have a number?
So the request was for 2,000. So do we want to go all the way, or do we want to go halfway? What is the feeling?
I was thinking 1,500, but, 2,000. 2,000 isn't out, we have it in the discretionary fund.
Yeah, well, we have it in the community development grant fund,
Right.
yeah. So and just for reference, we receive $9,000 per year for that one, so, and the intent, like, the policy is to try, which we do, I think, we have been, a lot of the time, expending at least 50% into the community, so. So we may wanna think about that as well, like, through strategizing cleanup,
Right.
for, like, some of the events that we have that are increasing in cost as well. We may want to be a little bit strategic about that fund as well.
Yeah.
But not saying that we don't want to contribute 2,000, because we do have, funds for that, so. Or just, yeah. I'm fine either way. I know it's yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, that feels good.
Yeah,
So did you want to make that resolution, Councillor Van Dyne?
sure,
Yeah.
Second.
Yeah.
Move the grant for
So it's
2,000.
for $2,000 from the Community Development Grant Fund.
perfect.
All in favor? That motion passes. Yeah, so this one, the transit service bylaws, so this has been work that I think I've reported out on in terms of, there's been a ton of work on the apportionment of the services. It's one where I flagged years and years and years ago saying, it's the calculation of the service doesn't make sense. So there has been a lot of work that's gone into it, and it actually has shifted the apportionment. And I think, honestly, we should have Tom Dewell from the regional district come and present to council on the apportionment, because it's complicated, it's complex. But it is actually moving in a direction that makes more sense for Slocan. So I don't know if so I'm just curious. Go ahead.
In your opinion, is it a fair way, as fair as possible for us?
Yeah, there was a point where it was not, and I was opposed, and that was initially when it was going through, and then then Tom made some adjustments to the apportionment to level it out. So there was a point where I was like opposed as it was going through the process, but then there were adjustments that were made. So I do think it would, that we should have Tom come in and do a presentation for this council, because, because it's, yeah, it is complex, and he can speak specifically to Slocan. So,
Should we go with the recommendation?
yeah, it's a step in the right direction, and there's been so many hours of work put into it, and there is a method to the madness that's, more appropriate, I think, than it was in the past. I think in the past, like, we were paying double Area H rates for the services, and I think it had something to, it was somehow tied, when they set the percentages, was tied to, we used to have higher industrial tax base, so that's the only logic I could think of, but the whole system is crazy. So, and it is complex, and I think, like, yeah, I think we should, invite Tom to present to council, just because it is enlightening. And he's been swimming in this for a couple of years now, so. So, yeah, go ahead.
I'll move those, both those resolutions.
Okay.
Presented.
Okay, I'll second.
Okay, moved by Councilor Knott, seconded Councilor Perrier, all in favor, that motion passes. And then it comes to us as participants, that's when it comes to council for consent, and then that goes to the board. So we have a number of information items. Are there any that folks would like to pull for discussion or to take action on?
We're thinking it's about 7H.
Okay.
If we have anything before February.
Okay. Any other? Alrighty, well, let's bring H forward.
I'm just wondering, we have sometimes some things we just feel like on that, you know, we talked about the, what did we do? We sent a request for, you know, with tax sales, you know, for the time.
Yeah.
And, but if until, February, we have anything we want to kind of move forward a little bit? And, you know.
Yeah, so the deadline is February 17th. Why don't we refer this, letter, just so that we don't lose it, to the January meeting? And then in the meantime, just, again, are there things that, is there an issue or issues or something that we want to bring forward to the AKBLD to bring forward to potentially CUBCM that would be, regional?
It would be, my thinking was behind like the water and the water distribution and all that, so I don't know if we can formulate something around that and see what other communities, do they struggle with the same things, or do we have, we could change the certain rules around, you know, water, because we have actually two systems, the out of boundaries and the inside of boundaries, so just.
Yeah, so maybe our little water working group.
And I don't know if it would go far, but it would be interesting, because it just seems to be a big one for me anyway.
Okay. Yeah, any other initial thoughts, like for today, or should we just refer this?
Let's refer.
Yeah, we'll refer it to
Mhm.
January, and in the meantime, just think, is there anything that we do want to bring forward, and what might that look like, in terms of drafting a resolution? So, Fran, we're referring 7H, BAKBLG call for resolution letter to the January meeting.
Yep.
Okay, moved by, yeah, okay, perfect. Moved by Councilor Knott, seconded Councilor Van Bynen, all in favor, that motion passes. Okay. Alrighty, motion to receive the rest of the items, none to be pulled, moved by Councilor Van Bynen, seconded Councilor Knott, all in favor, and that motion passes. Alrighty, report. Does somebody else want to read Public Works summary?
I'll
Go
read.
ahead, Councilor Knott,
Sure.
go ahead.
Public Works Summary, October, November 2025. Transportation and road maintenance, loader snow blade refurb has been completed, loader wheel chains refurbished, work truck plow repairs ongoing, winter road sand stockpile established, work truck yearly inspection booked. Parks, Recreation and Cultural Services, rail trail outhouse holding tank, fall pumped out according to schedule. Parks, plumbing and irrigation winterized prep complete. Fall RV park pruning and brushing complete. Further work to be carried out in spring. Breakwater replacement, boat dock and swim dock repairs complete. Repairs to playing court surface underway. Tiles must be manually repositioned as they have migrated across the court. Court surface supplier claims that the situation is unusual and has provided suggestions for an anchoring system.
Oh, excellent.
Water plant and distribution system reservoir inspection completed. Damage to internal emergency overflow piping documented, report available. Water consumption elevated through October, November. Several leaks have been repaired, but additional leakage is occurring. Minor 10 liters per minute residential service leak reported on October 21st on private property, contractor repaired. Public Works located minor 20 liter per minute leak in small diameter main, November 6th, Slocan North Road repairs completed. Major residential service leak reported on November 12th due to proximity to village infrastructure. Public Works assisted with locating and excavating, owner repaired. There's a photo of that one as well. The effects of heavy silt in Gwillem Creek, which began in early September, have tapered off. Creek turbidity levels above normal values for September, October, and early November. The long-term effects on filtration capacity remain to be seen. And then it has a photo of the sinkhole that was created by this leak. During the time, it was comprising nearly 30% of the daily village's water consumption, resulting in the loss of 4.6 million liters of treated water. It is a major leak.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
That's the Public Works report.
Thank you. Any comments?
No.
I'd like to just provide the feedback through staff that I really appreciate the photos.
Okay.
Yeah, in the Public Works report, because we're not always up there, and so I find it to be really helpful to clarify things. Yeah, so good feedback for thumbs up there. Okay, so if there's no comments, questions, motion to receive. Moved by Councilor Van Bynen, seconded Councilor Perrier. All in favor? That motion passes. CAO report. into it, yeah. So October 30th, in terms of administration, October 30th, our CAO met with the project coordinator and Lawson Engineering to discuss the Herald Street beautification grant applications and discuss refining design plans. Staff will work with Lawson on project timelines, scope, and drafting an RFP this winter for 2026 work. To date, funds have been received through the Reddit program, and funds were applied through the Strategic Priorities Fund are still pending. We anticipate funding decisions will be made early in spring. Michelle, if you're on there, I just had a question about that, for the drafting an RF, oh, sorry. Never mind. Yeah, sorry, my brain, I was tired. I was thinking it was a funding proposal, not a request for, proposal. So it's procuring for the work to be done next year. November 5th, check-in meeting with DFA and SNT Engineering on the Springer Creek Walking Bridge repair. SNT is working on the construction methodology and riprap design. A Section 11 application has been submitted to the ministry for work in and around the stream. Authorization letter has been received. Fish permit application submitted, waiting for response. And work is scheduled to be tendered in the spring with completion anticipated for summer of 2026. So SNT will assist with the tendering process. Yay, there's lots to do when working around the creek. November 10th, I met with project coordinator and SNT Engineering to discuss challenges with the Springer Creek water intake. Adjustments will be made to ensure the system is adequately performing for the spring. November 12th, met with Cisco, the Village of New Denver, and the Slocan Fire Chief to discuss the 2026 CRI application, past wildfire challenges, and future mitigation strategies. Annual insurance renewal underway for fleet vehicles. Public Works has closed the tennis courts for maintenance, and staff has been consulting with the manufacturer and will work to anchor tiles to avoid the shifting. They've coordinated with Public Works on boulevard cleanup letters in advance of winter snow clearing. Again, the village asks that the public insures all vehicles that are uninsured and debris are removed from boulevards. Our CAO is working closely with Nelson Finance to reconcile all accounts in advance of year end. And the memorial bench for Burley will be installed at the tennis courts this week or next. Council may wish to hold a commemoration celebration at the start of the ice rink season. So we'll coordinate with you, Joe, on that, and it would be nice to do something, to commemorate, that. So, sounds good. And community polar bear dip event has been scheduled by a group called Backwoods Bushcraft, based out of Winlaw, on New Year's Day at the beach. Donations will be collected and all proceeds will go to the Nelson Care Society. There will be a small fire, a hot tent to warm up in, and super stew being offered. Bring a mug. Organizers have completed all village events and liability forms. That's exciting. Halloween Hoot, it was a wonderful success. Thank you to the volunteers who worked the concession, to the fireworks team for putting on such a great display. Anyone wishing to join the team for next year's event, please let us know. And special thanks to those who donated to the Slocan Village Market. Thank you for 30 dozen wieners, 2 dozen veggie dogs, 11 cans of hot chocolate and condiments. Thank you, Slocan Village Market. And Fami's Bakery, 30 dozen buns. And the Village of Slocan purchased cups, napkins, foil, and other supplies. Donation jars were put out at the store, gas station, village office, And the total donations received were $682.15. Fire Smart, as part of the village's Fire Smart program, in partnership with CIFCO, the Village of New Denver, the project team completed its first Fire Smart neighborhood risk reduction site. Funds were included in the grant budget and involved trimming trees, clearing deadfall, and clearing underbrush. The first site listed as a high-risk area is located, well, it was down below, and so that work is complete. And that is it. Any comments?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
have
go
one
ahead.
question about the uninsured and debris on the boulevards. How are we going about having that happen this year? Like,
Yeah, I think every year the village sends out letters, like they'll do a little roundabout, and if somebody has an uninsured vehicle on a boulevard, they're contacted,
Right.
and then they have to either move it. And we have tags right through. Did you have anything to add? Yeah.
We are right now working on the letters,
Yeah,
and then we'll send out the letters, and then in 2 weeks' time, we'll see if they,
and if they have it, what's the
and
process?
if they haven't, well, I haven't quite got there yet, I was asking Michelle to.
yeah.
But, the RCMP they're CC'd on the letter, so there's a few different ways, I guess, of going about it, but obviously try to
Yeah,
connect with them first.
Mm-hmm.
and get compliance. Yeah, go ahead.
So do we have, a policy or bylaw? Because what we are lacking very often is a bylaw who gives any, power to our CMP to do anything. So I think it would be nice to bring the bylaw to the next meeting and see how it does, we can use it, if we have such a bylaw.
Okay. Sounds good. Yeah, so, did you want a motion to direct staff,
Sure, why not?
to bring the
Mhm.
bylaw to our next meeting for
Mhm.
review? Okay, moved by Councilor Perrier, seconded Councilor Van Bynen. All in favor, that motion passes. And from Michelle, she said we send letters and go out of our way to try to get them to move before towing. We have towed in the past, so we do have the ability to do that. Lachlan flags the vehicles that are in the way, for the list, so he does a visual, inventory, then there's the communication out, and then there is a methodology, so we can tow if need be, so. Any other questions? Hearing none, motion to receive, moved by Councilor Knott, seconded Councilor Perrier. All in favor? That motion passes. Alrighty, we have no bylaws or policies, no late items. No items brought forward from in camera. Mayor and Councilor reports, so Councilor Perrier, go ahead.
So we have a committee now between the Legion and the village, because, our dear friend Pat Ashton had just come before he passed away to ask for that request, and it is actually a very good idea. We met on November 6th, and, apparently there was, a bit of a discussion between, copy of a lease or a license to occupy, but I think it's just a little technicality between, when they just have to be reviewed by staff and city. So what we talked about is the heat pumps, of course, was a concern. We talked about the CBT grant, because we had, Amanda Murphy from CBT, giving the Legion up to $75,000 for accessibility. And I think the deadline was supposed to be December 3rd, but they were supposed to get a letter of support, and we don't have that in our, it's gonna be tricky.
Yeah,
We
well,
should've-
you can make a motion, directing staff to write a letter of support, for the accessibility grant for the
Okay,
region.
I will do that,
Moved by Councillor
but they
Perrier,
were supposed to be the one after, anyway.
seconded by Councillor Van Bynen. All in favor? That motion passes. Yeah, so I think that committee
Just
might
a
be a way
timing.
for, yeah, for bringing things.
And, the coordination, we talked about having Errol Street being, in the project. So what we want is, we want to coordinate. Because at first, we thought maybe the accessibility could be by a side door, but should be done properly by the front door. And it's not accessible right now, even if we have a ramp. A person by themselves cannot access, could not open the door or pull, it's too narrow, so it doesn't count like a proper accessibility, so that's why that was offered. And, what we talked about, the coordination between the village and the Legion for future plan, like they need, they're talking about electrical, who are just, they have almost no plug, or, so there's a big bar and
Yeah.
wire all over, so that would be, and we talked about the flooring, that was, and, it would be nice to have a heritage grant for the 125th birthday of the village, so with the coordination with the Legion. So that was a very good meeting, and we are going to meet actually next week, the 26th, at 4:35.
Yeah, that's important.
That's,
No later, excellent.
so that's my report.
Yeah, thank you. Any questions for Councillor Perrier?
Can I
Yeah, go
just
ahead.
get confirmation on the motion to direct staff to write a letter of support?
To CBT,
To the Columbia Basin Trust, on behalf of the Legion's application
we
for
should have,
an accessibility grant. And we think,
I think Nicole has an email who went through,
Nicole,
Yeah,
Nicole would
she
be a
said-
point person.
I recommend you put a formal request into Michelle so she can add it to the agenda at the next council meeting. I've attached a copy of the application. So, I think the best person for that maybe is to give Nicole
Okay,
a call. And she'll be
All right.
able to tell you exactly how to work this request.
Thank you.
okay. So did we receive? Motion to receive, moved by Councillor Not, seconded Councillor Van Bynen, all in favor? That motion passes. Councillor Van Bynen?
So, yeah, I just have a question for council, Mayor.
Yeah.
Has anyone been down to see how the breakwater looks and your thoughts on the breakwater? There's been lots of people saying, like, they threw bundles of logs in the water, not trimmed up, not nice, they're just thrown in water. So I just wondered, like, your guys' thoughts on that. And I never know what's a good time to talk about it, so here we are.
Yeah,
What's your thoughts on that?
go ahead.
I don't think that the project was delivered as it was described.
Absolutely not.
Thank you for that.
So I just wanted to find out how that is going to stay like that, looking like that. Like, that's not what was presented to look like that. I've never seen one look like that when I've looked at them. they don't look like that.
Yeah, I think we were told to go to outside of the Prestige to look, so
Mhm.
yeah, and I was like, oof, yeah, no, I'm not pleased
Nobody is.
with, with the outcome of that project. I think there's, like, it will function, but, yeah, supplemental and then,
It's just gonna get sloppy. The bundles that are there with those chains, that ain't gonna hold up. And we're just asking for another disaster in a project that we've got done that's
Mhm.
not, so we need to jump on it like now and not wait.
yeah.
My
Go
favorite
ahead,
question,
yeah.
do we have a warranty on that work?
Mhm.
What do they?
Yeah.
One of the comments I do recall you had, that you have made, was the fact we were supposed to have some logs that were, vertical. And because we already had the old logs, you
Mhm.
see, I remember saying the comment, it would just kind of keep the theme, if you, and I don't see, and frankly, if you would have said to me, I was not here, so I have not seen any process doing this. So three loads of logging truck in the lake, and that's it. And when I feel the amount of money we had paid for that, it is questionable. It is very questionable. The rest of the job seems to be okay. The
breakwater, yeah, no.
but that is actually ugly.
Yeah, so can we direct staff to check into how that was? Like, how do we go about that? To look back and, yeah, this is,
Yeah, Counselor Knox?
Yeah, I mean, as I recall, there was some images attached to the proposal. It'd be nice to review, like, what was proposed and approved versus what was delivered. Because like, as I recall, like, my impression was that we were going to get cable bundled strip logs with, like, which would match the like, the look of the pylons, right? That was what was pictured, presented. So,
like scaled logs,
Yeah.
cut nice and tidy,
yeah,
not a thing at all.
so I'm very, yeah.
But I think, like, we need to jump on it now, because we always wait and,
Okay, so why don't we do you wanna make a motion directing staff to review
breakwater.
the breakwater proposal? And then and what I'm hearing, and we can take note, the concerns are surrounding, it doesn't seem like what was installed or what was proposed, in the presentation. What was proposed was logs of breakwater, which was, but it was like, let's get something functional. But they also look different, like these are just bundles of raw logs as opposed to, finished logs that might, be similar to the look and feel of the beach, I think.
Exactly.
Yeah. So how do we make that a short resolution? Just directing staff, and I can follow up as well, and then, but a motion directing staff to review the proposal and, look for comparison. Michelle says, I've got it. Okay, thank you.
Right on.
Yeah. Just because it is, I think it wasn't, like, I knew we weren't gonna have what we had before, and it was because that, just, it was cost prohibitive at this point in time, but I think what we did end up with was very much different, just very, much larger as well, than what was in the, images that we saw as well, and they weren't finished, so it's very raw and unbundled. Counselor Knox and Perrier?
Yeah, I mean, what we got is, I would say, falls short of our already very tempered expectations.
Yeah, yeah.
And, yeah, I mean, people are, I hear about it in the store
Yeah,
a lot.
yeah.
People are not happy with it.
Yeah. And I know, and it's one of those that's like, oof, because I think we're all feeling it. I know I was like, ooh, when I saw it go in as well, but, yeah, go ahead, Councilor Perrier, sorry.
So the, breakwater was removed, and I remember you insisted on saying we need to keep that. Do we have any plan to have somebody inspecting that to see if there is any, and where is it? Where did we put it?
The old one?
Yeah.
Yes, this is, I think it's dragged on the no.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so, I think we should follow up on that too and see what is the possibility with that, because we can dump it, and I've so many things, in 2 years we'll forget about it.
No,
What, we can do with that.
Yeah. I think it was inspected before the proposal, and there was defects. And I think that when we made the decision to not, well,
It was to avoid,
It was to avoid-
re-anchoring, which
yeah,
was the real, like, because it couldn't be anchored again into the same spot, otherwise it would sustain the same damage.
Okay.
And so it would have had, like, to reuse it would have meant like, all of the underwater scuba work to re-anchor it out further, and that was just, like, way, way above what could be feasible within the project budget. The idea was to reserve it as a piece of equipment that could potentially be installed in a future location on the site, at the times, to be considered as part of the mill site master planning process for what the cohesive look of our entire waterfront will look like after we complete that work and begin implementing those plans.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. And I think, like, it was, like, the second, we had 2 bids come in, and the second one was over budget, and that was just resurfacing with subpar and not fixing the original problem. So we could have invested money into that only to it, like,
In the same boat.
being in the same boat 2 years down the road. Councilor Perrier, then Ben.
I totally
Oh, sorry, Ben Ryan and then Perrier. Go
so,
ahead.
yeah, because we were under budget on this
Yeah.
whole project. So my whole point is they could have done it properly
Mhm.
on budget and not done, anyway, it's all good.
Yeah. Okay. And Councilor
So,
Perrier?
my theory with the old breakwater should be, checked out to see if, in a couple of years, when we have a plan for that, say, well, there's no way because there's too much repair or whatever. The condition, do we keep it? Because the condition is decent and we'll integrate, and I like that idea. Or let's not keep it if it's really like so bad. So I have no idea who can give you that, who has the expertise to, even, I don't know, Public Works can go and check if, everything is so rusty or.
Mhm.
Just
There
needed
was,
minor repair. It was like, there was just one well that needed to be resealed,
Mm-hmm.
and then it could go back out. But the
But
problem is that it
re-anchoring-
couldn't be put out into the same spot. So like re-anchoring it was gonna be a several $100,000 project or whatever, right? So that was like, there wasn't any, like, the breakwater itself is in fine condition, it just needs to
Okay.
one weld resealed, and then for it to eventually end up in a new location with new anchors.
Okay,
no
so
rubber.
sound like a good idea to have kept that.
Yeah, that was the discussion at that time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Councilor Van
And that
Ryn?
breakwater, could it potentially go back over to where the other boat
That was-
used to be?
I think that sorry, I'm speaking out of turn,
Yeah,
but,
through the chair, go ahead.
yeah, like I think that's the, you know, there had been discussion among council and I know at, within the symposium about like having a motorized launch and a non-motorized launch and like where would those be located in the future? Well, it depends on where we run roads through the mill site, how we lay things out,
Exactly.
all of that stuff. But like the idea or the decision that was made by council was like reserve this piece of equipment because we will want to have to have that breakwater in place when we finalize where like our motorized launch will be versus our
Right.
non-motorized launch and blah, 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 down the road. But it kind of just, you know, with the constraints of the project as it was, the decision was made to remove it.
I get that.
Yeah, and then just like keep it in reserve for consideration during the mill site master planning process.
Yeah, and I can envision, even if it doesn't do the job of breakwater, if it's closer to this side where the waves and the wind is not as, you can have actually a very, nice walkway. So it doesn't need to be, you know, containing the elements, so let's keep it.
Yeah, yeah. And then it's, I mean, these are all, like, if we wanted more inspections or something different. Right now, we don't have budget for
We
it, but
don't
it should
need
be a
to
conversation.
if, you guys
Yeah.
know what is
Yeah.
happening.
Okay. Anything else? And did I call the question? Oh, go ahead.
Just for the
Resolution, yeah.
it was put forward by you, but it wasn't seconded?
Okay, moved by Councillor Van Bynen, do I have a seconder? Councillor Knott, all in favor? That motion passes. Okay, thank you, and yeah, thank you for bringing it forward. Yeah. Anything else that you wanted to?
No. There might be one more thing.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
The bathroom down at the rail trail there, that was
Yeah.
those.
Yeah.
So I did mention that it was stinky and they did pump it,
Yeah,
but it also needs to be cleaned or lock the door, because it's really disgusting in there. And nobody's gonna use
Okay.
it anyway, so it's embarrassing, actually.
yeah, I think we have an agreement with the Slocan Valley Rail Trail, and so I think technically now it is their season to manage,
We
so
need to get,
maybe we should, direct staff to coordinate or contact the
yeah,
Slocan Valley Rail Trail,
Yeah.
to remind them that outhouse requires regular cleaning. So, moved by Councillor Van Bynen, and seconded Councillor Perrier, all in favor, that motion passes.
So do we receive a report? No?
No, because I think she just brought items forward and then we resolved them. Anything else though, Councillor Van Bynen?
nope, that's it.
Okay, great. Councillor Knott, go ahead.
Just a couple of items. Previously, I had requested that staff, ask Public Works to paint a crosswalk across Harold Street at the corner of Harold and Ward Avenue, from the stop sign across to the bus stop, or any crossing at the intersection of, Harold where the Slocan Village Market, sits there. There's people need to cross the road there, and, there's lots of vehicles coming and going from the store, as you guys know. And I've always been concerned that people are walking out between cars and stuff there. There's no, marked place for people to cross. It would be nice if it could be if it could be painted, but right now, half of that road is underwater as well. So, so where I'm proposing the crosswalk to go, currently, there's a lake there. So, I guess my second point would be to, address that, and then put a crosswalk there.
Okay, so flags, for public works then, so I think so I'd be curious how that would fit within the plan. I think we will be having the plans coming back before they go out to tender for the Herald Street design piece, and that project, will be,
Yeah, no, I understand that there's a Harold Street revitalization project.
Yeah.
But, you know,
It's not part of it.
it's, well, I mean, yeah, I mean, but, like, all that is still going out for tender, funding to be finalized, lots of things are balls in the air, like what, you know, let's say, like, best case scenario, that project can start construction by next fall. We still need a crosswalk there for this year, and it doesn't have to be this seal-coated, like, whatever that was part of the other crosswalk project, just some white paint,
okay.
just some white paint it would be adequate.
Yeah, so why don't we, like, that can come up in budget discussion, or we could just flag for staff as well.
I think it was approved before at least 2 other council meetings, when I had brought it for, there was motions created, multiple times before about regarding it.
Okay, and the note here, it was to be established after we do the paving with the Herald Street in the spring. So I think it's earmarked for spring. So so just for staff, maybe we can, flag the two, then the other priority being, that Councilor Knott's bringing forward, for staff is the dry well as well for Harold Street, because that one, it is a priority, and I think it's actually outside the scope of the Harold Street revitalization. I think it needs,
It sounds
it might,
good.
yeah,
Good luck.
if it's not, so, yeah, so maybe, do you want to send them, another
Yes, please.
motion? Okay, directing staff to, look into a crosswalk on Harold across from, between the bus stop and the Slocan Village Market. And I think that usually happens in spring, and then, as well as the dry well.
Well, the dry well should be done before.
Yeah.
It will be hard to paint otherwise.
Yeah. Okay, so you probably could have articulated that motion better than I, but I think you've got the gist of it. Yeah, moved by Councilor Knott, seconded Councilor Perrier. All in favor? That motion passes.
Just one other topic of discussion. I would like to work with staff and other members of council to set meeting dates for a couple of working groups. The boundary expansion working group, as well as the water system working group. So I'm hoping that maybe we could pass a motion directing staff to set out proposed meeting times and schedule meetings for these working groups.
Okay. So moved by Councilor Knott, do I have a seconder? Councilor Perrier. Did you get that one, Fran?
Direct staff to send out proposed meeting times to schedule meetings for,
Boundary expansion
boundary expansion working group.
And, the water working group.
Okay. And water working group. Got it.
Yeah. And, my comment on that is, I'm sorry, I would have, pushed a little more. I've had zero capacity up until now, but I think we're in a time, and also Michelle was just, she may not even know what these working groups are, but so I'll leave her in.
I just figured it was the time now that Michelle is back and that we're in that, we're in the time of year where we all have a bit more time to take on some
Yeah.
of these projects. So I just wanted to bring it forward and get this ball rolling so that we can do some of this work over the winter.
For sure. And have stuff in place for budget conversations, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, all in favor? That motion passes.
That's it for me, folks.
And that's it, that's a wrap. And I think we've dealt with everything via resolution, so nothing to receive. I did, provide just a brief written report. We had, yeah, no, so, and then also some information for your information as well. So, we had actually this month, the board meeting before our council meeting, so, congratulations to Amy Watson, and, who is acclaimed as chair of the regional district board, and Aidan McLaren-Cole was elected vice chair with a split vote. It was a tie, and so his name was pulled out of the hat, but, so they'll be our executives for the next year. And yeah, there were some grant applications, and I will just double check, but, the board did apply to the Wildfire Resiliency Initiative grant, so that's the same one that we just applied to with the with the village of New Denver, so, I'll just confirm, and if we were named in that application, which I don't think we were, but I'm just gonna double check, flagged it for me going, that I'll make sure that we're working with this folks, because they've done great work on our behalf in the past. The board also applied to the Emergency Preparedness ESS Fund, and also the Community Emergency Preparedness Fund for fire department training and equipment. So, we're participants in the fire service. There is quite a bit of taxation, but there's also a lot of grant applications that go, that support the training, and as well as, a lot of the equipment that's used there as well, the turnout suits for firefighters and whatnot. So, that application went in. Wednesday, November 12th, we had the first preliminary budget discussion for the Slocan, for the fire service. Of course, there's 4, halls in the Slocan Valley Fire Service, and we walked through the Slocan and the Passmore Fire Hall. I wanted to flag, this council resolved to support, through the through Community Works Fund, to pay for architectural reviews that were required for each fire hall. It turned out that instead of those architectural reviews, they could be approved by engineers, so it totally reduced the cost of that project. So, just flagging that, I think we resolved to contribute $12,000 towards that project, and I think it'll be closer to 2 or something like that. But the Slocan Fire Hall apparently has crazy radon issues, so they need to do a radon mitigation project. And so there was an ask to see if we may want to reallocate or change the scope of those funds. So just flagging for council, I'll get more information to come back, to us before we fully resolve. But I think it might be most clean to only pay for the first project and then find out what the cost is for the second project, and what the ask is there. But the priorities coming out of that hall were, the radon mitigation, which is, I'm not gonna try to say the numbers, what it was, but it was something like 100 times more than what it should be, so it's something that they're needing to move forward with. Yeah, it doesn't sound like a crazy huge cost associated with the mitigation, but it's needed. The other priority was, I think flooring
Flooring.
priorities, right,
Mm.
yeah. And then, so, we'll have the next preliminary, again, it's very preliminary budget discussion for the next two calls, this week, on Wednesday. I attended an all recreation meeting October 29th. And again, if there's anything that's of interest to folks, all the information is online, and the minutes are, but, I pulled, there was an ice season rate structure review, and so the board did resolve to, approve for operating seasons as they were copied and pasted into this report. The all recreation meeting, I go to because I'm part of the park, we're part of the park service. But a lot of the time, it's the information that's happening at there is less relevant to us or to our taxpayer. It's more about, the larger rec center. Halloween huge thank yous. I think we also need to schedule a debrief with the, fireworks coordinator. There was enough coming out of it, and again, I'm flagging since it's kind of moved into, a village committee. We may want to look at this in our budgeting and how are we planning, and making sure that we have budget for fireworks, et cetera, moving forward. So, and there were some pieces. I met just briefly with Angela that night, and she said, so I think we need to have a debrief with staff and Angela as well, but huge kudos to, I think that was her first, and all the volunteers, and I think we supported training. We may need to support more training, just to make sure that we have people trained up for the fireworks event. Slocan Valley Economic Development Partnership meeting, that's what makes this long. I just, shared the priorities and the notes coming out of that group, what's working, so. Remembrance Day ceremony, again, huge thank you to the Legion. There was great, and the community band, there was a really good turnout, again this year, so that was great to attend. Tomorrow night, there's a Slocan Valley Services Committee meeting, and on that agenda, it's preliminary budget conversation with some of the shared services, and as mentioned, the Regional Park Service is the one that will be discussing relevant to us. There's also a lot of other shared services that we're not a part of, including the TV societies, north and south. I think there's a rec service to the north and some other services, so, but that's not relevant to us. And then there will be a presentation on the Slocan Lake and River Partnership, terms of reference and next steps. So I'll garner information from that and bring it back to council, because I'm quite curious about that as well. Legion committee meeting, Councilor Carrier already reported out. But I did want to flag, I did have a conversation through the federal government. There is a legacy grant, and it's available to communities who are celebrating a big birthday, and it's specific for renovating or revitalizing or building community buildings. So I think we could likely have a coordinated approach to incorporating all the priorities that were discussed, including phase 2, like the interior, the Legion Hall, that was part of Bob Dingley's heritage design plan, the flooring, the electrical, and we might be able to leverage the CPP grant as part of that. So that will be coming back to council ideally for at our December meeting, and then we could look at an application for that. So yeah, I think that's it. Any questions?
I just had one more concern that I just thought about. The guy that was doing the food truck at the beach a couple of years ago, he's
Yeah.
left all his stuff, like, in a pile. It's gonna snow, and there's not really any point in leaving it there, it just looks kinda trashy that someone just left their tables and junk there, so I don't know if he's been told to clean it out, or...
Yeah.
He has?
Yeah.
We did, reach out to have that cleaned up, and I think there was a time limit, and I think that time limit maybe passed now, where we just said that he would be billed for the cleanup of it,
Yeah.
and that
Yeah.
would just be happening soon, I believe.
Yeah, and Michelle's echoing what you're saying, that, they've started to take action on that piece as
Oh,
well.
yeah, I wondered, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And interestingly, that food trucks were brought up as a
I see that.
conversation in
Yeah.
there, and I did say that we do have, a process for applying for food trucks as well, so, but yeah, good flag, because that was a question mark. He did, I don't think he was really here on that much.
He wasn't here
I
last
don't think he
year.
was here at all this year.
No.
No, I think he came
Or
out
this
maybe
year.
once or twice, once,
I think,
yeah, yeah, at the very beginning, but then,
Maybe,
yeah, yeah. So, okay, so yeah, the response is action is being
Okay.
taken to clean that up. Anything else?
No.
No, just motion to receive, moved by Councillor Perrier, seconded Councillor Knott, all in favor, that motion passes. And we are at public time. And we have no public in the room, but we do have some folks online, so, any questions from the public online? Very quiet. We can't hear you. Valley Voice? Hearing and seeing no hands up. Actually, I don't have the, chat on. No chat messages either. So, if there's no questions or comments from the public, we just need a motion to adjourn. Moved by Councillor Van Wynen, seconded, and thank you, everybody. Yeah, thanks so much. Appreciate it. Thanks, everyone. Yeah.